What's up everybody? So today, this is my assistant Houston. We're going to be talking a little bit about how to use the gi in the side control position. It's a very common thing that I think students, especially when you get into jiu-jitsu a little bit more, it can be a very valuable tool for you guys. So first let's talk about, if I don't have the gi, what's a pretty standard control that we already know? Well, most of the time what we want to do is when we're in side control, we want to get our chest to their chest. I have one arm underneath of their head and one arm underneath of their arm. This arm that's underneath of the arm is critically important, especially for keeping top control and setting up future submissions. So having this underhook is very important, especially in no-gi. So if Houston gets his arm underneath of my arm, this is really good for him and bad for me, because he can start to get out and mess up the control. So one thing I can do with this gi that I can hold extra control but free up my hand is using what's called a skirt. So from here I can take this skirt out, bring it underneath of his arm and feed it to my hand. Now what's really amazing about this is that now I have his shoulder controlled like an actual underhook. So because his skirt is underneath and I'm feeding it to the hand that's underneath of the head, his shoulder is very controlled. So now if he goes to try to move around, he can't really move in the same direction. This also frees my hand. Instead of having to keep it here, it can start to move to the other side, and I can move into some different positions when I have this skirt fed under. Another option I can do, if Houston's really wise and he keeps his elbow down, I can't go under, is I can take this skirt and I can pin it over the top of his wrist right here. When I pin his skirt over the top of his wrist, it kind of does the same thing, and his arm is trapped. Now it does limit my attacks on that arm because I can't go to any arm locks or Americanas, maybe that I would like to do from here, but it keeps them controlled. So that's a really good way to control and have an underhook. Another idea that I don't see a whole lot of people use until a little bit later on is actually the pants down here. So sometimes of how I want to control him, I can really use his pant to really do this. So what Houston wants to do is if he moves his feet away from me, he could start to shrimp and then turn back toward me and turn on his side, slide his knees in, and start to get out. So one thing I can do to prevent that from happening is easy, is look, I'm going to grab the pant, I'm going to keep my arm straight. From this position, if he tries to walk his feet away, it's pretty hard for him to do because I've got his leg straight here. So I can even push it so his knees turn. So now if he tries to turn toward me, it becomes very difficult because my arm is straight. So you can even have a combination of having this gi underneath here, grabbing the pant, keeping this arm stiff, and now if he really tries to turn toward me, it's very, very annoying here, right? And this can set up a lot of submissions. There's even other little cool ideas of how we could get into this, especially even talking about from like a half guard position where my leg is trapped right here, and I'm in this position. I can take this gi and definitely feed it underneath right here, and then this allows me to free up my hand and start to sit, work some passes, pull my leg out, and now look, I even have his pants trapped here. So this is a perfect way that this kind of control can be engaged even from another position. So let's look at that one more time. I was here, he has my leg trapped. I take his gi, I pull it out, I feed it underneath of his arm. I feed it to my hand here, and now I have a really good underhook, so it makes it hard for him to underhook me or do anything with. Now I'm gonna sit down on my hip, and look, I grab his knee pant right here. I straighten my arm, I wiggle my foot out, I point my toe, and my leg pops right out. Now I'm here and I'm into this position. Now if he tries to turn toward me, it becomes very, very difficult. I can control him here and keep him pinned. So hopefully you guys like that. Check that out. See you guys later.